Hi everyone, and welcome to Jane Talks Murder, where I'll be talking about and reviewing an episode of Poirot, Murder, She Wrote, Diagnosis Murder, or Jonathan Creek. Today I'm looking at Diagnosis Murder, A Mime is the Terrible Thing to Waste. Or as I like to call it, that time Diagnosis Murder got freaky. We begin the episode with Steve chasing a suspect, only to be hit by a car, driven by this ditz, and into the credits we go. Mark is worried about Steve, but he's more annoyed about losing the suspect. And then Randy spills soup all over him, which gets her fired, but she isn't bothered, and offers her house-sitting services. She goes home to such a good dog, and gives it its medicine, before discovering a dead mime in her bed. Yep, I'd scream too, lady. She rushes to Mark's, much to Steve's annoyance, and babbles about the dead mime until Steve agrees to check it out, but he's attacked by the dog, and turns out there is no mime. Steve is furious and leaves, but Mark is more supportive, and Randy notices the house number is loose, so goes to the corresponding house trying to find the mime, until the house's owner threatens to call the police, and she stomps off. Steve and Amanda uncover a dead mime that washed ashore, which Randy comes to nose at, and turns out she's quite the forensic expert, before she drags Steve to Sonny's house, who is not pleased to have his space invaded. Steve makes up a story about Randy being crazy to get information out of Sonny, before Randy spins wild theories about the mob and pigeons to Mark, who believes she may be onto something. Really? He goes to another mime for a cute sequence where he identifies the dead mime as Mitch, a rival. Hey, what happened to the dog? The dog's owner, Mrs. Drew, goes nuts at Randy for giving the dog an overdose of its medication and moving in while she was away, so fires her. And that night, Randy stakes out Sonny's house, where he's attacked by 3 goons. Randy kicks the crap into them and they take off, but Sonny tells her to mind her own business, so she rants to everyone at the hospital and tells Steve to get on the case, but he's not interested, and she nicks his badge. Because the goons worked for a car dealership, Randy attacks one of them at work and threatens his boss with Steve's badge, which gets her photographed, while Steve looks for his badge at the hospital right before the FBI burst in. They are ready to arrest Steve for being mixed up in Sonny's illegal car part scheme, but Randy shows up, who turns out is also a lawyer. Randy and Steve yell at each other before Mark says they need to sort this out, and they send Jesse undercover. Oh yeah, real stealthy you two. Sonny takes Jesse to Duke's, where a deal goes down, so Steve tries to bust everyone, but they have a goon waiting in the wings. Wait, hang on. Sonny is an undercover cop? What's happening? Sonny is mad that his work has gone to waste, but Randy just wants to know who killed the mime. However, turns out Duke had nothing to do with it. When Randy mentions seeing a rash on Mrs. Drew, Mark rushes to the morgue and looks at the mime's undamaged clothes, before going to see Chelsea. The dog isn't impressed. She says she has sensitive skin and has a reaction to Mark wiping mime makeup on her, which he says proves she killed him. And he was no stranger to the house because the dog didn't attack him. She was home when Randy found the body, so dumped it in the ocean, and she admits they had an affair, but he blackmailed her, so she killed him and gave the dog his meds, which caused an overdose when Randy gave it to him too.
If you're so allergic to makeup, why get involved with a mime? I'm a sucker for the strong silent type.
Oh, Steve, you never learn. I completely forgot this was the episode with Randy in it. I chose to cover this one because I remembered that the dead mime freaked me out as a child, and for some reason I wanted to revisit that trauma. But surprise, Randy Wolfe is fun! That was a weird sentence. She's an interesting and enjoyable character, and it was fun to see her dynamic with those around her, as well as wondering what hidden skill she would come up with next. But I was surprised to learn that she only appears in this episode. I could have sworn she was a recurring character, and she and Steve got together, but maybe that's someone else? Or maybe I'm just misremembering the whole thing entirely. I loved the misdirect of the loose numbers and how the mime had nothing to do with the main plot, but also there were solid clues to follow in that self-contained mini-mystery that allowed you to work it out if you weren't distracted by the illegal car part story. The reveal of Sonny being an undercover cop was a surprising one, although not really if you were paying attention, because Sonny Burnett is the name of an undercover character in Miami Vice, but I didn't know that, hence the surprise. This one is a fun episode with some great physical incredible acting from Dick Van Dyke, proving why he's the legend he is. And also Mark had some very sweet moments throughout, proving why the show works so well. We have one victim, Mitch the Mime, stabbed through the heart in his lover's bed by our killer, Chelsea Drew, who didn't like the idea of being blackmailed and covered up her affair in the deadliest way possible. So there you have it. That was A Mime is a Terrible Thing to Waste. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, or come say hi on social media. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit that like button, it really does mean a lot, or consider subscribing if you want to keep investigating with me. Alternatively, feel free to check out my other YouTube channels. Thank you so much for watching, I'll speak to you soon, and keep an eye out for clues.